Good Tuesday morning, Kickstarters, and welcome to Morning Kickstart. I'm excited that you have decided to show up this morning, invest in yourself, and hopefully take something from today's episode and invest in others. My name is Andrew, and I'm your host of Morning Kickstart. I come here every single weekday to help you put some positivity and encouragement into your life and hopefully help you even challenge or change your thoughts. Now imagine this. You are really angry at someone. And in the current moment, the way that you feel is completely justified given what that person has done to you. And in your mind, you have every right to just be livid. Just be so mad that you could bite nails in two. And then your friend comes along and they say, you know what? You should really just let your anger go. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that's easy for them to say. It didn't happen to them. Or I can't let it go because that person has not sincerely apologized to me. And I can't just drop it. I just can't act like it didn't happen. And I wish that I could move on. But the person that did it to me, they're just so bad. I truly don't think I can let go. But you know, moving on from a grudge that we've had, that someone has done something so bad, we are holding the biggest grudge that we can against them. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be angry. That's not what it means. It means letting go of the grudge. Now, I'm a big person on forgiveness no matter what has happened, and I'm also a big person on still talking to someone if you have to, depending on what the situation happened or what you went through. But I think it's still good to have some type of forgiveness or to still talk to that person. But that doesn't mean that you still can't be angry about it at times. And here's the thing, it's not even about the person who did all that dirty stuff to you. It's about the benefits of your mental and physical health if you can get rid of the grudge. Now, is this easy? No, it's not easy. I never said it was going to be easy. It's not easy at all, but it is doable. So what does it mean to kind of hold a grudge? Holding a grudge, it's different than an anger, and healthy anger. Anger is an emotion. Holding a grudge goes to a different level. There was a professor at the University of Wisconsin. His name was Robert Enright, and he's been studying forgiveness for over 40 years. And one of the quotes that he said was, holding a grudge is the kind of anger that takes up residence in the human heart and doesn't know how to leave. It's the kind of anger that can turn on us. So really us saying it's causing way more harm than the initial offense that someone has done to us. You know, an unhealthy grudge it kind of looks like when your anger is at long term. It's deep seated, it's intense. And sometimes when you hold a grudge, you may wish bad things upon people, which is not good. That is not a good thing at all. But the person that did that thing to you that was so terrible and now you're holding a grudge, that person who has wronged you now lives in your head rent-free all of the time. The grudge that you're holding becomes a part of your identity. You can't forget about it. It lives within you. It's always making you upset and angry. No matter how hard you work to get rid of it, it's still there. It festers inside of you. We hold these grudges because it feels like we have control. It feels like we are holding on to something and we are not going to let it go because we are in control. It makes us feel superior. No matter how mad and furious and outrageous it makes us feel, we feel superior on it. And eventually that can go out of control and it can become a distraction from things that we're doing in our life because we just hold on to it. And it not only does that, but it affects everything that's going on inside of us. You know, grudges that we're holding, they give us energy for negative thoughts and negative feelings. It also keeps us stuck in the past. It keeps us thinking about past things that have happened to us, which can paralyze us and make us feel sensitive or maybe even misinterpreting what other people are saying or doing. It can keep us from problem solving. We can't improve our life because of it. They have measurable negative effects on our minds and our bodies. Grudges are about an anger, and it will not stop. It is chronic anger that lives with inside of us. And if we're talking about health, we're talking about heart disease, heart attacks, increased stress in our life, tension, headaches. We're talking about anxiety, depression, eating disorders. All of this is tied to negativity and this grudge and just hatred that we're holding inside of us. So how do we let these grudges go? How do we get to a point to where we can say, I'm done with this. I am finally laying this down. I think one of the best things to do when we're trying to get rid of a grudge is just ask for an apology. The person that did this to you, they may not realize how damaging their actions were. And maybe that they weren't able to apologize right away for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what it was. But just talk to that person and say, I would really like an apology for what you did to me. And you know, someone may refuse to see their own wrongdoing and they can't deliver it. But here's the thing, you can feel good knowing that you did everything that you could to come to some type of closure in that. And you may come to a point to where that person will never apologize for what they done because they're incapable, or maybe they've got something that has just broke them down over themselves, over their life. And that can kind of lessen anger towards someone else. One thing that you can do too, if this person decides not to apologize or never has mentioned anything about what has happened and you still need to get over this grudge, just imagine the person apologizing to you. When you've tried to get through this, or maybe that person has passed and they can't apologize to you, you can give yourself an apology that you deserve, or maybe someday may have gotten if they weren't gone from this world. It can help you get past even that person passing away, where you can actually mourn a relationships or just get through it. But just imagine that person apologizing to you. It doesn't have to be real, but you need to be able to get through this grudge and not let it have control over you. Another thing to do to get past a grudge is consider the power that you're giving to the other person with your grudge. By hanging on to the anger that you have, you're allowing that person to keep harming you. Sometimes we may think of letting go of a grudge is letting go of power, that importance that we have. But that's not really it. It's actually giving the power back to yourself. Another thing that you can do to get past a grudge is you have to realize that the person that did the wrongdoing to you is also a human. We hold a grudge against someone that can also make mistakes. This person's not some cartoon villain, and we can't just put them in this scenario that doesn't really exist, because they may have had something going on in their life too. They're just a human. You're only looking at one single part of what happened. You're not looking at the full story. That person may have been hurt by others as well. And this is a long-lasting effect throughout their life. Or it could be as simple as that person not having good habits like eating correctly or sleeping enough. Now, it's not an excuse of their behavior, but it may explain why what happened. So we have to recognize that they're a human as well. They have other stuff going on. Now, this may not completely remove the grudge that you have, but hopefully it will chip away at that grudge where it's not such a differentiating factor in your life. Another thing that you can do is forgive. Sometimes it just takes time and practice to learn how to forgive. It's like building a muscle to forgive other people. Healing is amazing in your life. And if you're able to forgive, you're able to heal. So do you have something going on in your life where you've been holding a grudge for a long time? A lot of the times when we look at holding a grudge or this thing that's continued to grow up a fire inside of us, most of the time we've never spoken to the other person about it. Maybe they don't even know that what happened had such a detrimental effect on your life. Holding grudges is unhealthy. It will do nothing but make you a sick, miserable person. It will do nothing but make you feel this negative energy in your life all the time. So what do? You seek some type of an apology maybe. Maybe you consider the power that you're giving to the other person and bring that power back to yourself. Maybe we even take as easy as a step of saying, this person's a human. They mess up. They may have other stuff going on to your life. Or maybe you can just forgive that person and move on and try to heal throughout this process. So if you've got something like this going on in your life right now and you've held this grudge, and it could be for years and years and years, I really encourage you to try to reach out to that person, talk through this, figure out what might be going on. Maybe ask for an apology or say, hey, I forgive you for what you've done. It really hurt me, but I've got to move on. I've got to let this go. I can't let this be an instrumental part of my life. So I really hope this helped you out today. I hope it helps you move forward in your life. I want to thank you for coming to Morning Kickstart today. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk about these hard topics. Talk about stuff that's going on in your life that may be really affecting you. Now imagine there are other people out here that this is affecting as well. So what if they were able to hear what was spoken today and hear what may be able to help them throughout their life and the stuff that's going on in their life. So I really challenge you to invite someone to Morning Kickstart today. I invite you to just go to your friends list and invite a few people, or maybe copy this link and share it to someone. If you're listening to our podcast, it's always good to subscribe, comment, and also just send a link to someone and say, hey, I really think that this may benefit you today. Hey, I always want you to remember, you can do hard things, you were made for more, and you have a purpose. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday morning, Kickstarters, and as always, thank you for being a part of Morning Kickstart.